Illman here with the DRF race of the day for Monday, September the 16th. Let's throw up the field for race number 4 at Assiniboia Downs. It's the $40,000 JW Sifton Stakes. It's a restricted stakes race going a demanding 1.125 miles. It is a big evening at the Downs. The Sifton is the kickoff leg of the 20-cent ASD Jackpot Pick 5. The carryover going into Monday's Pick 5 wager over $167,000, and races 5 through 8 comprise the $1 Pick 4 with a $50,000 guaranteed pool. You'll note there's a heavy favorite in our race of the day, and that's the number 6, No Show, No Call, who already has valuable experience going around a ground and is coming out of some tough stakes races. He's got very competitive Beyer speed figures, and as we see from the Timeform US pace projector, he has the fastest Timeform US late pace rating, and he also can get up close to the lead. I think JL Copper breaking from the inside and stretching out in distance is going to show the best early speed, but No Show, No Call likely won't be too far away, and he figures right in the thick of things when the field turns for home. Let's start our analysis with the one, JL Copper, who's been beaten a couple of times already by No Show, No Call, but might be rounding into his best form after his last 2 races. Both victories earning stereo career best 59 Beyer speed figures. Here's JL Copper's most recent start. It was only at 6 furlongs, but he bobbled at the start, rushed up to prompt the pace from the rail, then reeled off a quick second quarter in 23.16 to take the lead and open things up turning into the stretch. JL Copper is getting tired, as you see. The wire comes just in the nick of time, but I think the hard work he did in the internal fractions of this race took its toll. JL Copper is a huge question mark stretching all the way out to 1.125 miles. His sire was a pure sprinter. There's sprint in this family. So it's really all about whether this horse can get relaxed in the early part of this race to be able to sprint on home. 5-1 on the morning line, considering his recent form, I think is a fair price, and he's run well in his last 2 without blinkers. The 2 is Pino Bambino. He's still a maiden, but he's going to get blinkers for the first time, and his most recent start was improved. He faced a winner that came back to run second in a non-winners of 2 life with a 62 Beyer speed figure. He showed speed going that mile race, but I'm not sure he's as fast as the 1 and the 6 in here, so perhaps he'll tuck in just behind the leaders and hope for a good trip. I think he's probably best played on the bottom of single race exotics. The 3 is Pickin' Riffs, and we're going to watch his most recent start, his maiden win in his 11th lifetime outing. This race is at 7.5 furlongs, and Pickin' Riffs got a great ride and an easy trip. He couldn't have gone any slower on the lead. 25-3 for the opening quarter mile, put everyone else to sleep, and Pickin' Riffs had plenty in the tank to strut his stuff in the stretch. It's likely going to get a lot tougher from a pace standpoint, and it's certainly going to get a lot tougher from a class standpoint as he faces winners for the first time. The race you just saw was a restricted $7,500 maiden claimer, but it's nice to know that Pickin' Riffs can win at 7.5, and he has tactical speed enough to find good position. The 4 is 11 9th Street, and 11 9th Street's coming off of a useful effort. He finished second last time out. It was a slow-paced race. He was wired by an odds-on favorite that was just much the best. The 4th place horse came back to place, but did so in a restricted $7,500 non-winners of 2 life claimer with only a 31 Beyer speed figure. 11 9th Street simply has to improve from a speed figure standpoint. No Magic is the number 5, and he's coming off of a likable win, going 7/8 of a mile at Assiniboia Downs. We'll watch that race right now. He was dropped into that $7,500 restricted non-winners of 2 life condition. He sat off a solid pace set by the runner-up, a horse that then came back to win at this level with a 45 Beyer speed figure, and he runs right by that horse in the stretch. So he showed he was able to at least stay within range of some solid fractions and then kick on home. No Magic still has to prove himself at this tougher level, and like a horse like JL Copper, is stretching out again and has been beaten by No Show, No Call in the past. No Show, No Call is simply the horse to beat. He reeled off 3 consecutive victories at the Downs earlier this meet. He was thrown to the wolves in the Manitoba Derby, and the fact that he was only 7-1 in that tough race shows how highly regarded he is. He didn't run well in the Manitoba Derby. throw that race out. It's a world's different league of competition than the horses he'll be facing on Monday night. His most recent start was in the Phil Keeves, going a mile. It was a very fast pace he chased, the 23.99 second quarter mile, and he was on the move through those internal fractions to take over the lead, and then he got tired. The winner coming back to run second in an allowance at Century Mile with a 63 buyer. I just think he moved a little bit too soon in that race, and this time around, breaking from the outside, if the one breaks, he'll let that horse go, sit second, and be ready to pounce again when the real racing begins. Before we get to my top selection, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. No Show, No Call is the horse to beat. I did like the way the number 1 JL Copper won his last 2 races, however, and he'll be a tepid top selection for me, but he's got to go off at close to his 5-to-1 morning line. There are just too many questions surrounding him, up in class, and most importantly, up in distance, and I'm not sure he has such a great pace edge over the 6, but his last 2 races were buyer tops, and that often indicates another forward move for lightly raced horses. JL Copper will be my top pick, but No Show, No Call is the horse to beat in the JW Sifton, Monday's race of the day at Assiniboia Downs. Good luck.